After falling all the way down to the 32nd overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Utah Jazz selected a big man out of Duke. He's a very well-rounded offensive player with a lot of potential in my opinion, and there are probably teams that are kicking themselves for not drafting him, and his name is Kyle Filipowski. Welcome to Basketball Intuition. I'm your host Ethan Simon. Today we're going to be talking about Kyle Filipowski and the Utah Jazz. Traditionally, people say that second-year players are supposed to go into Summer League and dominate, and Kyle Filipowski did in fact do that. 29 points per game, 40% from three, Summer League MVP. I know in the grand scheme it literally doesn't matter at all, but it's got to be a huge confidence booster for a second round pick. And after watching him continuously get better throughout last season and watching him dominate Summer League, it makes me very confident that Kyle Filipowski is a real NBA player and he's here to stay for a long time. So how we're going to do this video today, we're going to start with his build, playmaking, ball handling, finishing, shooting, defense, and whatever else I have to talk about. Okay, so at the NBA Combine without shoes, he measured 6'10" and 3/4. You add about an inch for shoes, so that puts you at basically 7 feet. Now, this next thing is a real problem with Kyle Filipowski that we're going to talk much more about later, but is the fact that he has a 6'10.5" inch wingspan. That is a negative wingspan. He is 21 years old right now, turning 22 in early November. And if I had to give you any fast facts before we get into the playmaking and ball handling, it's that he doesn't give up on many plays. He gives great effort. And now to the playmaking and ball handling, and this is where I wanted to start because I feel like it's very underrated. He has really good handles for a big man. He's a very underrated ball handler with his passing and creativity. He has a nice little crossover that I like. In general, I think he has very good vision. He is a viable passer. And when we talk about the playmaking and the ball handling, some of the things that I really like is I thought he made some really nice passes to cutters, just keeping his head up and surveying the floor. Also, some really nice bounce passes at times, taking good angles in the transition and stuff like that. And speaking of the transition, one of my favorite things about Kyle Filipowski in general is the fact that he runs the floor. He's not the type of big man to get the rebound and then wait for the guard to give him the ball. He's getting the rebound and he's pushing it up himself. And that's one of the reasons why I really like him and Isaiah Collier playing together. Now, my favorite part about the dribble handoffs is the fact that he can do that fake dribble handoff and it looks so good. Like, it is very, who are some players that have done it in the past? Like Draymond Green, Ben Simmons was doing it. He had one crazy pass to Colin Sexton off a dribble handoff. And he also makes some really great spin moves and fakes on the perimeter to get to the inside. We even saw late game against the Portland Trailblazers, a fake dribble handoff. He did a spin move and took it right inside. But in general, I thought in the dribble handoffs he looked really good because he's not just like going to give you the ball and get out the way. He does a great job at being a cone. So whenever he hands that ball off to you, he's going to stay there and he's going to try and shield off your defender for a little bit. So somebody, for example, that I saw him do that a lot with was Jordan Clarkson. He would give Jordan Clarkson the ball and he would kind of just stand around and be a cone and let Jordan Clarkson kind of just run around him. And then when it comes to the pick and roll, he can pick and pop, he can roll, he can set solid screens. He's a pretty solid screen setter in general. And then whenever he is actually rolling to the basket, he can go to the inside and finish, but he also can make an extra pass to somebody in the corner or on the wing. And we even got to see a few possessions of him as a ball handler in the pick and roll with another big, being able to come off that screen and throw a lob to his teammate. Two or three more things I just want to mention. He has really good anticipation, just being in the right place at the right time. He has really good positioning and timing. It's a lot of the little things with Kyle Filipowski. I also like that he is setting a lot of off-ball screens. There are not many times where he's just standing around on the court not doing anything. Whenever you have a big often that is running around setting off-ball screens, it can be very useful to your offense, and he does that. And then two more things more negative. There were times where he was turning the ball over on dumb stuff a little bit too much, so I'd like to see him keep down on those turnovers. He in general is a low turnover guy, but I would like to see him keep that down, as well as adding more self-creation. This is a really big part about him being able to get to the basket against NBA defenders and not just in the summer league. He doesn't self-create a whole lot. Whenever he is finishing at the rim, a lot of the time it's from his positioning and his timing. So I would like to see a little bit more self-creation. Yes, I know that he is a 7-footer and he's not really supposed to be self-creating, but if we want to see him maximize his potential, he's going to need to be able to self-create a little bit more than what he does right now. And now we'll get to some of the reasons that I feel like he's struggling with self-creation whenever it comes to getting in the basket in the NBA. So over to the finishing side of things, I feel like he struggles to have his way with the larger and stronger centers right now, and a part of that is with his build. So like I mentioned earlier, he's like 6'11", 7 foot with a 6'10.5" inch wingspan, and he is fairly strong and he's got a solid build, but the problem is that he doesn't have crazy vertical speed. He doesn't have super long arms. He doesn't have a really long body, and he just doesn't have that strength that he would need to make up for those things. So I think he just is going to need to improve his body to help out with these other things. So like if he could get up and down faster, if he could get stronger so he can be this bruising center and just put his arms into you with his finesse, but it's just going to be tough for him against these other elite centers who are really strong and have really long arms. So like games where they played Rudy Gobert, Brook Lopez, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, he wasn't really getting to the inside that much because those guys are longer and they're stronger than he is. So one thing that I think could really add layers to his game and what could help him get past that and finish on the inside more and get there more often would be adding more of a post fade game. This is something that we have seen him do before and he has done in flashes, but we haven't seen him consistently do it because he just gets blocked sometimes on the interior against these longer defenders. So if he could take them back to the post, back them down a little bit and fade it away, that could be a way for him to get to the inside and still finish efficiently. But now over to some good things. Like I mentioned earlier, he does a really good job with his positioning and timing and finishing that way. It helps make up for the fact that he doesn't get downhill that much by himself in the half court. And also I think he works really well in the dunker spot, kind of just using the rim to protect himself from other defenders to block his shots. He has shown flashes of a guy that can hit push shots close to the basket. That's another thing that's going to be really important for his build and his frame and stuff like that, that he's going to need to be able to knock down those push shots because he's not going to just go up and dunk on you. So he's going to need to find ways to finish over these taller defenders, and I think that's going to be a really good way to do that. These push shots as well as those fadeaways like I mentioned. I think he does very well whenever he gets a smaller defender switched onto him, just going down there kind of banging. Whenever he is down low with a smaller defender or a weaker defender, he does a good job at using his body. But But the problem is I feel like there are times where he gets that switch and he doesn't immediately go to demand the ball. There are possessions where he gets a switch and then he goes out on the perimeter. Whenever he gets that switch onto a smaller defender, I want to see him get in the post immediately. And that's not always his fault. There are times where he does go down to the post and his teammates just aren't getting him the ball. And I don't mean to trash on his finishing ability if it seems like I'm doing that, but like it definitely is going to need to be improved for him to be able to maximize his potential. If you're still here and enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button. It really does help out a lot more than you realize for a smaller channel like myself. Now let's get over to something that I like a lot. It's the shooting ability. This is something that you should like a lot. Jumper looks really, really good for his size. I saw reports that were saying that they were changing his jump shot kind of midway through the season, and they were kind of tweaking with his jump shot. And if you look at his follow through earlier in the season versus later in the season, it does actually look better. And as the season went on, he was much more efficient as a shooter. So like for example, if we look at the catch and shoot, by the way, I think his catch and shoot motion looks really good. It's very nice for a big man. Post All-Star break, he shot 36% on catch and shoot threes, but pre All-Star break, he shot 32%. So that already by itself is improvement. And for a big man coming into the league for his first season, shooting 36% on catch and shoot threes post All-Star break, that's pretty good. We'll take that. And then if we talk about general shooting splits, he shot 34% above the break. I thought he looked really good from the wings. And then he shot 37.6% from the corners, which is another thing that you like a lot from an off-ball player. I do want to see more mid-ranges. Like I mentioned earlier with the post phase and stuff like that, I would just in general would like to see more mid-ranges so it can help him get to the inside more, just give him more opportunities to get to the inside. And another thing I wanted to mention, I thought it was kind of funny that he already is a better shooter in the NBA than he was in college. So his total shooting splits from his rookie season was 3.1 3-point attempts on 35% from three. His freshman season at Duke, he shot 3.4 threes a game at 28%. And then his sophomore season, like the NBA, he shot 3.1 threes a game. And it was basically the same 3-point percentage. It was a little bit lower. It's 34.8%. One thing that we do like to talk about when it comes to shooting mechanics is your free throw percentage. On 2 free throw attempts a game, he shot 65%. That is bad. And I just always think it's kind of funny when guys are a better 3-point shooter than they are the free throw shooter. That is something that you want to see him improve on. But there are a lot of players that are like that, where they are much more comfortable from deeper range than they are closer up. So yeah, I really like 3-point shooting, pick and pop opportunities, stuff like that, stretchability. Now let's talk about the defense, because this is kind of where you get into some of the problems with Filipowski. I'm going to start with a lot of negative things, but just know that I'm going to turn this around, and I actually think that he is a very solid defensive player. He does a lot of the little things that I love. So I'm going to run through a few disclaimers. Number one, if he had 3 to 4 more inches on his wingspan, he'd be so much better as a shot blocker and interior threat. Number two, he's going to need more vertical speed, like I mentioned, to become a threat as a shot blocker, because he has this negative wingspan along with his limited vertical athleticism. It's not a great recipe for the NBA. It's just kind of weird where you're going to play him at. You want to play him at the 5, your rim protection is going to take a hit, but you exchange that for defensive versatility and switchability. If you play him at the 4, that's where he's going to be the most successful at. He's not really that type of center that's going to be up there meeting you at the rim all the time. He's going to contest shots really well, but out of a modern center, you need a guy that's going to be able to play in that drop coverage and block shots. I do want to clarify, because I didn't. I do like him at the power forward, not as the center. He has a really good fit next to Walker Kessler. I like that a lot for the future. Okay. But in general, he actually does move his feet very well on the perimeter, and that's why I said you exchange the rim protection for versatility and switchability. Earlier in the season against the Mavericks, he even had a really great possession on Luka. You get a switch onto him on the perimeter, it's not just like a regular big man where it's just going to be a pushover. I'm just going to cook this guy real quick. quick. He actually does a really good job at not being a pushover. Playing very solid defense on the perimeter. That is one thing that I just love. We're going to run through some more good things before we get to some more bad things. I think he's got really nice hands defensively. He does a great job at getting in the passing lanes and the driving lanes, just mixing stuff up and just coming out of nowhere sometimes, like trailing the play and getting a steal. He did that a lot. I thought that he helped the team navigate team rotations very well, just calling guys out, telling them where to go, communicating switches and stuff like that. Something I mentioned earlier, he has really good timing and anticipation. He also has that on the glass. I feel like it's kind of inconsistent sometimes, but he's fairly good on the glass. He is a pretty good rebounder. So now over to some of the bad things. Post All-Star break, he was averaging 3 fouls a game. That is tied for 11th most in the NBA post All-Star break. That's garbage. I will say he does have a pretty bad whistle. There are a lot of times where he was getting called a foul on, and I didn't really think he fouled him. So some of the games that I went back and rewatched to see how he played was the Timberwolves, the Cavaliers, the Bucks, and the Pelicans. So Zion was busting ass. He was giving Zion space in the mid-range because he is faster and he didn't want to press up on him, and that just let Zion get downhill. So now whenever Zion is getting downhill, he is stronger and faster. So he was just blowing by him, or he was simply just putting his shoulders into him and just out muscling him. And then whenever he was trying to guard Evan Mobley was just longer than him. Those little jump hooks, there was nothing that he could do about it. And this plays into like what I said earlier, needing more strength or more ups. Anthony Edwards, a 6'4"-ish guard. Yes, we know Anthony Edwards is elite of the elite, but he was putting his shoulder into him and making him look like a baby. And I understand this is rookie season, but this is what I'm talking about. He's gonna need more strength, so he's not just getting bullied by all these other really elite guys. He does a really great job against like middle of the pack offensive players and like guys who are really, solid but not great. But against the elite of the elite, he can't really do a whole lot. And then Giannis, actually, I thought he did a pretty good job on Giannis. They weren't using him on the ball as much, so he didn't have as much opportunity to show that off. He was playing more on the help side and as a help defender. But whenever he did have possessions on Giannis, he kept it straight up. He wasn't fouling him. I'm sorry if you're taking this as me trying to be hard on him or me saying he's not good. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think he's really, really good. But of course, there are things that he's going to need to be able to improve on. He's a rookie at the end of the day. And for the 32nd overall pick, if he can't ever be, a really, really great defender, you got great value because now you have a Swiss Army knife on offense that can do so many different things. You can run him in so many different actions. But yeah, man, I'm a really big fan of Kyle Filipowski. Out of all the players that I talked about from the 2024 draft class, he has definitely gotten to one of the top guys on my list. Two more things. Jazz fans, let me know what you think of Will Hardy. I think I like him a lot. Obviously I didn't watch, all 80 Jazz games. I probably watched, between my Isaiah Collier video and this video, just a regular season, I probably watched like 30, 40 Jazz games. I kind of like that he was kind of creative. The front office, they're out here tanking, so there's only but so much he can do. But I just like that he was kind of willing to just kind of throw random lineups together and do different stuff. Before we wrap this video up, the very last thing that we have to talk about, it's my favorite segment of the day. It should be your favorite segment of the day. It's the best segment of the day. It's the comment of the day. So I already know what today's comment of the day is. I just have to find it. If you don't know what the comment of the day is, it's my favorite comment from the previous video. It can be about anything. I don't care what it's about. Today's comment of the day, he took the words right out of my mouth. Something that he knew I was going to say anyways. Well, I did say it last episode. That's probably why he said it, but I don't even need to say it now because he said it. A good supporter of mine, a guy that watches all my videos, YTube4865. I appreciate you so much, bro. Comment of the day is take care of yourself. Please remember to take care of yourself. If you are like me and you naturally prioritize other people and other things that you have going on in your life before you prioritize yourself, my best friend William told me something the other day and it kind of just stuck with me. He said, how are you supposed to take care of everything else you have going on? All the people that support you on YouTube, all your friends and family, if you don't even take care of yourself? And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. There is only but so long that you can prioritize everybody else before you put yourself first. If you haven't done anything recently for you, something that you enjoy, something that heals your soul, I challenge you to take some time away from all the other things that you have going on, if possible, and do something that you enjoy. For me, for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go fishing. So I'm challenging you guys, but I'm also challenging myself. Tomorrow, instead of working on another video, I'm just going to go fishing for a little while and then I'll work on another video. So remember to always take care of yourself. I love each and every single one of you. Your support means the world to me. I can never put it into words. If you made it to the end of the video, which you did, make sure to hit the like, the comment, the sub, the post notifications if you want. You don't have to do any of them if you don't want to, but I would greatly appreciate it if you did. For the very last time this episode, make sure to take care of yourself. I appreciate all of you and I'm going to see you on the next video, man. Peace out.